Hi, my name is Carrie Scott, and I'm the Learner Leadership Conference Coordinator for the LSTA Initiatives Project. And thank you all for coming to today's presentation on learner-led events. I am joined by some special guests, Rosie Manella, the Adult Learner Leadership Institute Coordinator, and 4 learner leaders who presented events, Koti, Honey, Mihoko, and Prashant, and they will be discussing their events a little bit later. First, we are going to do our little credits here. Let me advance this. This project is supported in whole or in part by the U.S. Institute of Museum and Library Services under the provisions of the Library Services and Technology Act administered in California by the state librarian. So this summer, I've had the opportunity of working with learners and coordinators support learner-led events throughout the state. And today's presentation is a bit of a final report for me. I'll present a quick overview of the learner-led events that were held throughout the state. And then we'll have a review of the results. And I'll show a slideshow of the learner-led events that have been presented to show just the range of their creativity and the variety. 4 learner leaders will share their experiences with this project, and then we'll talk about how your program can get involved with learner-led events. And Rosie Manella, the Adult Learner Leadership Institute Coordinator, affectionately known as ALLIE Coordinator, will talk about how your learners can learn new skills with ALLIE. So it's a super action-packed agenda, so we're going to go ahead and get started. So with respect to this project, LSTA funding was made available to provide learner-led events with the result to promote training and community engagement and planning for adult learners. And obviously the development of literacy skills by the participants, not just the attendees, but also the learner leaders who were presenting and co-designing, and to create these events that were co-designed by learners. The timeframe was from June 3rd to August 31st, and it was inclusive of all of the CLLS programs, including adult literacy, the CLLS funded ESL program, and family literacy events. You'll see there's, in the slideshow, there's a wide range of events that were funded, and the allowable costs, that list will look familiar to the coordinators. There are things like speaker fees and working meals, books, etc. For the outputs, we had 12 libraries participate and present 13 unique events. There is an additional library and a 14th approved event that was delayed due to circumstances out of their control, but they are going to be able to present it even though the project is ended. We had 23 learning leaders present at these events. And you can see the attendance was over 200 people. And the length varied from 1 to 6 hours. And you see the range of costs was quite broad there. It was quite wide, and it depended on really the scope of the event, the length, and how many attendees they were. And we'll be going over that in the slideshow. As far as outcomes, we now have curriculum and events that can be replicated with either within the same libraries that presented them or across other libraries. And new skills were learned by the presenters and attendees. And these numbers are fantastic. We had 96% of attendees report that they strongly agreed or agreed that they learned something. And 92% reported that they strongly agreed or agreed that they intend to apply what they learned. So now we're going to just go through a slideshow of the events. It'll be in alphabetical order, and I had the privilege to attend all but one of them. So we're going to just start with the Adult Learner Leadership Institute reunion. And each slide too, I'll point out, it has the names of the learner leaders and how many attendees and the price, or what the approved costs were. So first, the Alley reunion was hosted by the Alley coordinator, Rosie Manella. And Alley alum shared what new skills they have developed and more importantly, how they use them and engage them with their programs and with other learners since their Alley event. AK Smiley Public Library had three workshops and they were all unique. The first one was an origami workshop, and that one was a real challenge for many, and it called on attendees to use their literacy skills like reading an instruction guide, following instructions, asking questions, and asking for help. And I was there, so there was a lot of that, asking for help for sure. They also had the self-esteem workshop, and learner leaders had a lot of interactive exercises, kind of identifying signs of low self-esteem for yourself and ways to feel better about yourself. And all participants also used and received a copy of a really beautiful book called The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse by Charlie McKeesey. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but it was really fit in beautifully with the theme of self-esteem. And their final workshop at AK Smiley was on banned books. And learner leaders discussed reasons why books might be targeted for banning. And they were able to explore banned books for themselves and reflect on how they would feel if books that they liked were banned and how that affected them personally. Azusa City Library started a bilingual book club. And this was one of only two multi-session workshops. And their first selection was the Writer to Writer book. I don't know if I can show that, but it's this one that all of your libraries had. And then all participants also received a copy of Esperanza Rising at the end of their sessions. Benicia Public Library also had a book discussion. And I'm not going to say too much about this because Prashant, the learner leader, is here and we'll talk a little bit later. But they did choose an adult new reader book that they could read together during the program, and they shared a lot from their different cultures, and we will hear more about that one later. Camarillo did a couple sessions on Chat GPT and how this learner, Zara, who's pictured, used it to help with English language learning. And she gave attendees a lot of tips on that. I know I'm going fast, but I want to get to the learners. So I'm just kind of flying over all of these here. Carlsbad City Library Learning Center and San Diego Public Library did a collaborative event. So you see that was a more expensive program because more learners attend. And the program started with learners learning in Carlsbad, learning how to ride the train, rode down to San Diego. And then they did a lot of events that I won't talk about because we're lucky enough to have Mihoko on the line today, who will talk later about the different activities that the two learners from the two libraries got to do together. Grass Valley Public Library hosted an English language learning experience on their library lawn. It was 100 degrees that day outside, and yet they had a great attendance of 30 people, and they got to practice English skills in real life situations, like in a grocery store, like a pretend grocery store, and a restaurant, just for example. And two of the learners, Koti and Honey, are here today. They'll share more in a little bit too. At Long Beach, they hosted author Raphael Augustine, who is the author of Illegally Yours, and I do really recommend this book if you haven't read it. He was incredibly engaging, and the attendees got to receive a free book, and then you can see he stayed and autographed the books for anybody who wanted an autograph. Placentia Library District, adult learners read and received a new reader book. First, it was on My Mom Likes to Paint, and they learned a vocabulary about art. And then they received art instruction from a local artist who happens to be a learner in the program. And then they are showing off their creations. Upland Public Library, the learners who attended there discovered ways to shred negative thoughts. I just love that theme. They did this positivity journaling workshop, and all the learners had an opportunity to receive a free book, but they also got a journal that they could write in. And in the picture there, they all got to decorate their journals the way they wanted to, with positive affirmations or things that were meaningful to them. And then finally, Watsonville Public Library shared poetry in their Cup of Poetry event, where learner leaders read poems and facilitated some really meaningful discussions. The library that is not depicted is Los Angeles Public Library. Will be doing their self-esteem workshop. They had to reschedule due to some things beyond their control, but it'll be led by writer-to-writer winner Odysseia. So I think I'm going to stop sharing here, because next we are going to invite our learner leaders to talk about their events. We all stop talking. So I'd like to start with Prashant from Benicia Public Library, and he led a book group. So Prashant and I are going to have a little conversation. You get to listen in on it. So Prashant, would you describe the program that you presented?
Oh, absolutely. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Prasant Kaple. Yeah, I lead book discussion, as she said, in Banisha Public Library as a learners lead program. So, it was a story about a Mexican uh, brave woman, like Ithar's brave story. That was the book. So, I lead that program, and my all colleagues, they were attend in our class, and then they I try to tell about this brave story about her life, which was written by her that main character, it her mother-in-law. So it was a great story about how she struggled in her life. If somebody wants to learn something, it doesn't matter how poor they are, how their family situation, however their situation. So she did it. She wanted to learn how to read. She wanted to learn how to math and basic things in her life. So even she was poor, but how she get help? If you are nice, you will get help from other people, you know. So she get help from her store owner, you know. So that was the story. And so overall, my all colleagues were attending program, and they were so much involving in when I was trying to present that book discussion. So that was really good time, and they involved in my class, and I feel so much good about that. So being a ESL, English is a second language student, and standing in front of them, my friends, and then presenting that program uh, and mediating, and that was really good, and that was the program. So
Yes, it was wonderful. I was there. And Prashant, just so you know, I did put the title. It's Esther's Brave Story by Sandra Riggins, who happens to be the coordinator of
all
Carlsbad
right.
program. I went ahead and put it in the chat, and then Bev put in a link to it. So thank you for describing that a little bit. And Prashant, could you talk a little bit more about like what you got out of the planning and presenting, like what that meant to you?
So yeah, definitely it gives me so much uh, confidence now, it's when you are presenting in front of your friends, being in a new world, like and struggling with the language barrier, it's trying to make a nice smooth conversation with other person in different society. It was a big challenge, like in a work sector, workplace, and wherever I used to go. So in that class, when I was attending as a student, and then when you and Betty and you great folks like who wants to support, as Rosie Manela also, she helped me in Ali. So that's all give me, okay, you can do it. It just gives me that kind of positive energy and confidence to me. Like, if and another things like it's just so many other colleagues, they are from different country, not only from different country, they are from different continent. They are struggling with like language, cultural things, and all uh, kind of struggle. But still, like doing that things, it just gives me, when I get out from that doing plan and doing that program, it just gives me a positive energy and confidence, and public speaking more confidence. And when they understand, and when I was trying to tell stories and vocabulary uh, of that book, so they were asking and understanding me, so that means I get progress. So I'm on the way of progress. So it's give me more like, hey, you can do it. Hey, you are doing great. you know
Yeah,
so and
getting that feedback. Yeah.
yeah,
And
and then
definitely,
I just love to like remember beginning time how hard it was for me to make sense to anybody, uh, like a normal conversation. Hey, where are you from? For example, and then I'm from Nepal, and I'm sorry, I don't understand it. These people are really nice, but it's just hard to um, make sense. So I was keep working on it, and finally, everybody, they understand me. I mean, not 100%, but like they understand. So it all gives me okay. So everybody can get progress if they are they really want, and if they involve, and if they hard work and practice. So those are the things.
yes. Oh, and that people were so invited to interject, but they were so engaged in the conversation. I also loved how you allowed people to read the book and they all felt very comfortable and obviously trusted you because they all read from the book. So it was a very great like environment that you set for them. Did and did you what do you think the benefits were for the people who attend and you may attended and you may have even talked to some of your colleagues or the attendees. What did they get out of it?
Yeah, first of all, I wanted to thank for my ESL teacher Betty as well, you and all other my friends, whoever, my classmates too. They all inspired me to like doing that things, and standing in front of them, and then they are so open-hearted people. They were just, hey, they were so much supported. So I think most of my colleagues, when I ask them, hey, everybody, when I finish that class, they were like, hey, you did great. And they were just appreciating that. Definitely gives me uh, like, oh, that's a positive, so good vibes in my heart. Yeah, I feel. And I ask them as well, hey, so what do you think? What did you learn? So what you think, what things you benefited from that our class? And their answer was, so most of their answer was, oh, if you can do it, so why not us? We can do it too.
That's
And
fantastic.
then
That's
I think those things they get benefit because I'm also a example for them because a Nepali guy who was their colleagues and standing in front of them and presenting a book, you know. So they all were like super excited and they think, okay, we are learning something and uh, we are we understand now what's how important this class is, uh, how every vocabulary and all these things and how continuity is important as well, like we are keep coming in class, that's how we are so comfortable and sharing caring and those all things makes success
yeah.
and so I think those things everybody who attend in my class they get benefited, so I
Yeah.
think they
Thank you.
learn.
Thank you
Carrie,
so much. Yes,
we
yes.
do have a question in the chat, and
Oh,
Prashant
good.
and Carrie and maybe Betty could also
Absolutely.
answer this. So it says
Okay.
practical things like logistics. How did you market the class? Let people know that it was going on. Who did you invite? Did they read the book before the event?
Mhm.
And how did you deal with different levels? And anything else? So it's all in the chat, but Prashant, Betty,
Oh,
Carrie, if any of you want to talk about those things.
yeah. So, I know you read the book in the class, but how did you market it? That might have been Betty. I see Betty on the call. How did you let people know that this was going to happen?
Hi, Terry.
Hi,
Yes,
Betty.
I'll be glad to help on this. Prashant did a wonderful job. You know, he's very, as you can tell, he's very warm and giving. So, first of all, the class was excited for him. And when we told them about the event, they all made sure that they were going to be here that day. So that was part of it. And then I put it in our staff meeting notes. I put it in a flyer. Um, we didn't put it everywhere because we couldn't invite the public, you know, it was for the students.
Right.
But once they found out that he was going to be the leader and that it was going to be a really beautiful book, it just kind of went from there. I hope that helps.
Yeah, that does. Yeah, fantastic. And Prashant, how did you manage? I know I was there, but um, how do you feel you managed different levels? Like some people may have been more beginning, some, may be further along in their reading journal journey. Like how did you kind of manage that to make sure everybody felt welcome and comfortable?
Right. So, first of all, I think good things about that book, it was in really, really like so basic level English and all sentences and vocabulary. it was like really like a basic level, you know. So I know my colleagues because I'm interacting with them and their vocabulary and their understanding capacity when we talk with each other when our out of the class as well, like how they communicate with me because we are making a communications bridge, you know. Even there some are from like Mexico, some are from Guatemala, some are from Asia, some are from Afghanistan, but uh, we know each other since more than a year, you know.
Oh,
So
yeah.
and their label is pretty similar with each other. And when before class I was talking with them a little bit about Ether's brave story, and I was asking them, hey, do you know about brave? What do you think brave means? Can you tell me brave means what? And then most of they were like, hey, of course I know, it's like a adventure and like brave things. And I was trying to tell them, like, you are in this country and struggling to live in this country. itself a brave. You are brave. That's why you are here, struggling with trying to learn different countries' language, trying to adjust in different community, different society. Itself, like a braveness. And then, so I think they all are like. Some are pretty advanced too. That's a great question from Babe. Uh, but main things is book is in really simple vocabulary and so nicely flow with the story, so that things makes more comfortable to them, and I give them open floor as well for their question if they don't understand. So I try from my side to explain, and if I feel hard, Betty was there too, and so that's how I manage.
Well, thank you.
Terry, Terry.
Yes, Betty?
Betty, I wanted to add something about Prashant. And I was so glad you were there. It was a delight to meet you and have you there. But he did a very clever thing. The book, has illustrations made from fabric and torn paper, so it's just beautiful. So once he started going, he went around the room to everyone in the room, all 15, 16 learners, and they started talking about the customs of dress in their country, and it just ballooned. You may remember this. It just,
I do.
everyone took a turn and they couldn't wait to share. And he was so good with each person. And since he knows who needs a little more time and who may not, he paced his conversation with them very appropriately for each learner.
Yes, thank you, Betty, for sharing. And for Sean, thank you so much. And I think we had a few more questions in the chat, but I do want to give the opportunity to our other three learners. So I will circle back to your questions. So hang in there on that. I'll get them answered. But
Thank
we
you
want
so
to
much.
thank Prashant. Thank you
Of
so
course.
much. It was an amazing program. And we are now going to move just not that far from Benicia over to Grass Valley. And we're going to welcome Honey and Koti, who they did an English language learning experience, which was absolutely delightful. And so I'm going to turn it over to them, and I'm going to just start by asking one of them to tell us a little bit about that program, if you can describe it.
Yes, hello, I'm Coti. I'm from Argentina. We worked together with Hani. We studied together. We met in a English classes in Grass Valley, and our program, it was based like we just know people and we hear in the daily basis life that a lot of people is like don't speak too much English, and I feel so identified with that because I used to be like that 4 years ago when I came. So well, Hani will speak more about that, but our program was like make different scenarios, like daily basis situations, like supermarket, grocery stores, a restaurant, and then another like emergency situation about fires and another emergencies. And then we had some bingo and another activities for kids. Was like a different stands that we prepared, so hard and a lot of stuff, tables, signs, Joy and a lot of people helped us. Carrie was there. And then we prepared these little scenarios, like for example, the restaurant, we was there and we was preparing like some fake food, and we just was the waiter and then the people that was sitting in the restaurant. We have like our menus and like a easy basic conversations for them to practice, and they had to say out loud. Even some people was shy. We was trying to make them comfortable to speak and say and participate. We was changing the people. Then we work in a restaurant. No, wait, in the supermarket. And then we was like playing with fake money. We was just making like a store, you know, they was selecting and making a budget and buying and giving the change and all that. That one was more like level, you know, like different levels, depends of the people level. English. We was changing the conversation, you know, and speaking a different way. We had some helpers too, our students for the Spanish class. And then we had the bingo that everybody loved. That was super fun, you know. Everybody loves bingo, and we was doing bilingual and explaining the new words in English and Spanish. Joy helped us in that too. So that was so fun. Then we have the emergency cards that was different situations in a cards, and the people had to select the answer, like the solution for that emergency situation. And then we had the kids games that was like painting different drawers of animals or food, and then with the name in English, and they had to paint and put in different boxes. That was, for example, the horse. They paint the horse and put in the farm box, and then paint an apple and put in the fruit or no food box. So that was fun because they had a lot of colors and all the new names all big like that for kids. Were a lot of kids in the event. So that's basically what we did, like a super interactive and fun games. And so the people get more like phrases and the new words and expressions.
Yes, it was very interactive. And if you were having trouble keeping in mind all the different events that were happening, it's because there were so many amazing events. But Koti and Honey just led people through everything. It was very organized, and a lot of their surveys that came in were commenting about that. Anyway, let's keep hearing from the learners though. What inspired you to present this particular kind of program?
Thank you, Carrie, for the
Hi.
opportunity.
Hi.
Well, this is me, Honey, and thank you to Joy too, because they were very, very important in the process. And well, Coti was a great partner. We worked amazing together. She's very creative, and I was very happy to having her next to me in the process that we were creating. So what feels me more motivated was about the opportunity to help the community, the Hispanic community, no? That is my community. And at the same time, is the way that I feel that I can give back something as much as I was received about the library. So was for me a way to feel more creative and more inspiring. And well, give this as a guide for other people in the same path that we are getting through. And well, obviously use always familiar and social situations that we use in the day by day, in the daily, and make the learning more easier. That was the first things that was our motivation. So well, very happy to be part of this and very, very, very fun.
Oh, it was fun. You could tell how much fun people were having. And what do you think were the benefits? Well, no, let me ask you the same question I asked Prashant. What do you feel that you got out of planning and presenting this event?
Well, that is a very good question right now, Carrie, because definitely I suppose well, always create our the satisfaction is helping, no, the community Hispanic the Hispanic community that I belong to. So for me, was overwhelming the participation of the American community. This was a very important part, like they came from the Spanish classes. They came to help us and practice at the same time the Spanish that they were learning with the people, and they were giving us all the opportunity to create an amazing merch. And this was amazing. Definitely for me, this made the event really, really special. Was a very full example of diversity and collaboration.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
true.
that's true. That was so we felt super identified because we had the same process, and the thing that Prashant was saying, like sometimes you feel like, oh, what these people is saying, like few years ago I was in the same position. So you really feel like how you felt in the past, and you want to help the people that is possible. Like you can speak better English. It's just patient and practicing, yes.
Yes, that was wonderful. And then what did people get out of that? What were they telling you about what they got out of it, all the folks who attended?
Yeah, we spoke with few people after to see how they like, and then the people filled some papers too. But the things that they more were saying that was super like fun, and at the same time the people repeating out loud and having to see like the names of the things. A lot of people told me and Honey too. We share about this, that the bingo, for example, a lot of words in the bingo I heard they was using after. So it was so fun because yeah, my family was here too, and they was telling me a lot. Then some people that we know, they was repeating how they had too much fun, but at the same time they could like use a lot of expressions that they use wrong, like in the correct way, like for example in the restaurant, which is like a short, easy conversation that you just need to know and repeat, and then you just are okay, good to go. So a lot of people told me that personally, and Honey too, we talked about this before, and it's like the game, the participation, they felt like involving the community more because was people Spanish speaking, English speaking, um, like feel comfortable interacting with other people in the community, feel more part of. That's so important too because the language is a big barrier if you don't get that, more working in that and go through that. So yeah, a lot of good comments we had.
Yeah, and definitely about this, I feel that the people was feeling very welcome. All the different nationalities, they were participating with us, and was a very familiar event. They have a lot of fun with the kids, with the young children, and that was really, really cool to see how the children was trying to help the moms to engage with the games, and that was really, really cool experience. Really nice.
It was wonderful. Excuse me just a moment. Excuse me, sorry. Well, it was a fantastic event.
Thank you.
You
It was
so much.
great.
Thank you so much for coming on and sharing about that. And then we're going to go to Miyako from Carlsbad City Library. And let's see, Miyako, or if you
Yes.
want to put your camera on, great, and welcome. And could you tell us a little bit about your event that you had with in collaboration with
Okay.
Read San Diego?
Okay. Our program, the name of the program was Read, Write, Create Event. It was August 5th. We Carlsbad Library learners and supervisor and one of the staff member went to the San Diego Library. The purpose of this program was to build good friendship with our Carlsbad learners and to have fun improving our skill with the San Diego Library program. That was the program purpose. So at the first, we Carlsbad learners learned how to buy train ticket, and we took the train about 1 hour to San Diego. During the train ride, back and forth, we had a fun talking and exchange information with library staff. At the San Diego Library, we learned tips on how to write essay or sentences from the library staff. Like the partial, you use the book. Yeah, two books from our library staff explain how to write, how to make a book. So, and then after that, we studied Japanese haiku and create our own haiku. And we had a lunch. After lunch, that was very fun part. We did our art project. We used the magazine or newspaper. We just rip it and cut and create according to our own haiku. And then after we framed, that was so much fun. And then we went to home. Yeah, back to that's all about that's the program. That was it took all day for our library, Carlsbad library runners from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. That was a program.
It was a long day,
Yeah.
but it was
Yeah.
really,
It was so much fun. Yes.
yeah. And you know, I'm going to keep asking the same question. What did you get out of it? What do you feel you gained from presenting and planning and all of that, participating?
Yes. I felt great for this opportunity, and I felt that I gained more confidence in my English. Speaking in front of people has great benefit, but it also has great challenge for me. That's what I have learned last few years from the Carlsbad Library Learning Center. I'm sorry, I have a tough time to pronounce R or L. So
You're
anyway,
doing
yeah.
great. You're going nice and slow, Miyoko. It's so great. Keep
Thank
going.
you. Okay. So I know that public speaking is very scary for me, and I was really making English mistakes. But I know also, other hand, this is great for me. And then, no, I'm good for me and my English skill. Thank you. And this program, I had the opportunity to explain about Japanese haiku. By the way, I'm Japanese. I'm from Tokyo. So I know the haiku I studied before when I was a student, but it was my first time researched haiku in English. So I learned English at the same time. That was good for me. So in the past, after giving a presentation, I felt regretful and depressed before because I was always thinking, oh, I wish I could say that, or so many wishes just come to my brain. But someone told me that nobody knew what I wanted to say. So I have learned how to be positive. So now, after the presentation is over, I try not to look back, or I try not to think of any regret. Even if the presentation doesn't go well, I tell myself, I'll try harder next time. Thinking that way give me more confidence. That's I find out myself. So every time I give presentation, I know I gain my confidence in myself and my English. That's why I was very grateful for this opportunity.
That's
you.
Great.
And I saw Prashant nodding when you were saying you have that confidence.
Thank you.
So great. And
Thank you.
what did just a minute or two about maybe what were people telling you about attending? What did they enjoy?
Yes,
Learn?
yes, we had a huge benefit. Everybody got a great benefit. I think all the learner we participate, they got the great benefit because we became very close to each other, and then also learner become more comfortable communicating with our library staff. That is a big benefit, I think. Because I remember at the beginning, when I start going to the library, I was afraid to speak into the library staff because I don't know what to say without just say and hi, that's all. But talking to the library staff, rather than just say hi, goodbye, make you feel a little closer to the library and make you more comfortable. Once you feel comfortable, same time, I think how you can get the confidence. And yeah, that was one of the benefits. and another one, taking the train about 1 hour, about 2 hours train. We had a great chance to discuss many different subjects and get to know each other, encourage each other. That was great opportunity. Also, it was so much fun. We just laugh like crazy. So again, once we became close, so I think who participate going to the library now, meeting the people, feel more close to the library, and same time again, I'm saying again, I feel very comfortable. So that I think that was a great big benefit we got. And one more, lastly, I want to say because Sandra's here. So,
Yes, Sandra, your coordinator. Yeah.
Yeah. As Lana, we are all grateful to our library supervisor, Sandra, for making this happen. Also, thank you to Michelle for explaining her book and helping us through the day. That trip was great, successful. Thank you.
Thank you, Mihoko. So thank you so much to the learners. I'm just going to kind of finish out the presentation part really quickly because I know we want to get to the adult learner leadership present or comments and information from Rosie. So I'm just going to advance this. So how do we keep this great momentum going, these wonderful programs that you've heard about, and how do we keep it going? Well, you can host learner-led events, even though the official program is over. Learner leadership is actually a program essential for CLLS. And just a quick comment, right out of our program essentials, learner-driven services benefit the individual learner, help build stronger workplaces, families, and communities, and add value to the library literacy program. So they're cost-effective, as you saw. They were as inexpensive as $200, and then it could get more expensive. You can use your CLLS grant funds. And I have the allowable expenses there, but if you had another expense, you can always check with our library literacy CLLS staff, Bev, Allison, on other expenses. And you can pay your learners as services for the 24-25 grant year. Now, you'll want to check with your local kind of your local rules, like your local administration might require maybe just an invoice for a learner, or some might need an MOU, or you'll have to kind of look into that locally. But with the state funds, you are allowed to use your grant funds for that. And just to mention as a rule, the learners were getting paid $100, but some programs that were longer or more complex, the learners would get additional funds kind of commensurate with that extra effort or longer time. And then you want to invite your learner leaders to participate. Maybe you have Adult Learner Leadership Institute graduates, LA graduates. Of the 23 learner leaders, 65% of them were ALLE graduates. But that meant 35% weren't. And yes, we are going to try and make sure those 35% can get to ALLE. But you might have adult learners on our staff. You might have former AmeriCorps members. Think of who your learner leaders are. But I do definitely want to turn it over now to Rosie and let her talk about how the Adult Learner Leadership Institute ties in with all of this. Rosie, you can take it away.
Thank you, Carrie. First of all, I want to thank Carrie for doing these learner-led events, of course approved by Bev, because this gives Ali the opportunity to showcase the improved skills of the learners as a result of their attendance in Ali. I'm very moved by all the experiences and accomplishments shared by the learners. And from the bottom of my heart, I congratulate all of you. So it is so great to hear that all the learners here with us utilize skills in many ways and have definitely benefited from attending Ali. So kudos to all of you, and especially for those who haven't attended Ali, I hope that you will soon join us. So this is a testament to what Ali can do to help learners develop their self-esteem and prove to themselves that they have many skills that they can use if they believe in themselves. Just like Prashant and Mihoko, and so is Kari and Hani. So just believing in yourselves, you will be able to do so many skills that you can share your talents with others, that you can help other learners and encourage them to follow your footsteps and be models for them to believe in themselves too. So my message to the new learner leaders, now that you have learned to believe in yourselves, improve and develop your self-esteem, take the opportunity to connect with the other learners in your program and encourage them to get out of their shell, believe in themselves, and motivate them to attend Ali. To all the coordinators, excuse me, to all the coordinators, my message is introduce your learners to Ali by telling them what it is and how it can help them build and learn and improve their self-esteem. And also learn how to set goals, how to advocate, to network, and to speak in public. So all of which are very important in developing their leadership skills. Also, coordinators, you can utilize your learner leaders to share their experience in your program and also help them with other program needs that you may have or other events or other programmings that you will have in your program. So utilize them, because sometimes if you don't ask the learners, they're still kind of shy and afraid. But if you encourage them, they will show that, yes, they can do it. And eventually they will believe in themselves and will become models for the other learners in your program. By the way, for the new or newer literacy coordinators who are not familiar with Ali, Ali stands for Adult Learner Leadership Institute. And this program teaches them how to develop their self-esteem, learn other skills like setting goals, advocacy, networking, and public speaking. Now, you may have learners in your program who are afraid or shy to speak English because they're not, they are from different countries. But in Ali, I'm pretty sure they will learn how to believe in themselves, just like Prashant and Mihoko. They did so because they now learned how to believe in what they're doing and believe in their own skills. So the program teaches them all these skills, and the program topics are also facilitated by learner leaders from different programs who are Ali graduates. We will be doing 4 Ali cohorts next year, 2025, starting in January, and will be held every other month until July. There are 3 sessions for each ALI cohort, and the learners must complete all the sessions. Now, I will be sending out announcements sometime in October, and will also send out the application form at that time. So please watch out for it, and please encourage your learners to attend ALI, and you can address any ALI questions to me via email or phone. I think that's it for me, Carrie.
Thank you. Would you put your email and
Sure.
phone in the chat, please? And I
Sure.
will put my email too. And I think we have finished right on time. I know there were a few questions in chat, and I got the names of the people, and I will reply. And I want to thank all of our special guests, Rosie Manila, Prashant, Koti, Honey, and Mihoko, and also LSTA and the California State Library for supporting this project. And thank you all for coming. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing the joy of these products. They were incredible. Good work, everyone.
There
Well, I'll
is
stay on the call a little bit once we stop recording and we can answer a few more questions.
there is a survey too. If I put the link in the chat, and hopefully you would take a minute to do that too. Thank you. I'll stay on too.